Hello and welcome back, Josh, Sam, and anyone else who's watching to Swindon't You Forget About Me. We are in a bit of a place, right? So I'll show you the Premier League. I'll just show you. We're 13th. Okay, we've got 2 games in hand over most people, 3 games in hand over some because of Cup and Europe progression, but we are 13th. We've had about half the squad complain to me thinking the clubs are underachieving, which is probably true. And 2 or 3 players who requested to be transfer listed, then when I transfer listed them, complained that I transfer listed them, and then had to come to me again with concerns because I transfer listed them, only for me to take them off the list and then to say thank you. So it was a very strange time here at Swindon Town. One of the reasons that we are so low in the table is because we have so many games in hand. Like if we win, we've got 2 games in hand over teams like Arsenal and stuff. I mean, obviously we're not going to get that high, but we would be on 20 points if we won both of those, which puts us potentially up as high as 5th. So to complain quite so much at this stage is a little bit harsh, I think, and hopefully we can start to get a few of these league games under our belts and push on up the table. Other things to note, so I'll show you what the form we've been in. So what do? We played Hull and Roma, right? So we played well. We then smashed Wolves 5-0 in the League Cup. We drew 0-0 with Chelsea, which is a decent result. We were 2-0 up against Stade Caen, but unfortunately dropped to a final last-minute goal by them to lose that game 3-2. We then beat Leicester 1-0, lost 2-1 away at Arsenal, which is another decent result. We actually could have taken something out of it. First half we were poor, but second half we were very good, came back and could have equalised right at the end, didn't though. We then smashed Breda in the Cup, in the Europa League, to go 4-0. We're second in the group. We then lost narrowly to Man City, which is again another good result. I mean, not a good result, but an average result. We then beat them in the League Cup. This was around the time when we were having the squad rebellion, by the way. We then drew 0-0 with Southampton, which is admittedly a poor result. And then we drew again 1-1 with Breda. That was away and we had to come from behind, but we had plenty of chances. We should have won it. It was just a freak occurrence. Luckily, since then, though, we have gone on a bit of a run in the league. We went 2-1. That was a goal in the first minute and a goal in the 90th minute, I think. 3rd minute and 85th minute to beat West Ham. And then we beat Huddersfield 2-1 as well. We came back from 1-0 down. Padilla scoring a late winner there for us. Before we played Sunderland in the League Cup quarter-finals, where we won 4-1. Goals from Padilla, Jeff and Topic, scoring his first goal for the club. Putting us back into the League Cup semi-finals. Now, we actually haven't drawn the semi-finals yet, so you might see that draw in between these 2 games. I thought I would do as I said and play the Roma game because I still think this will guarantee whether or not we get out of the group, assuming we win, and even I think if we draw, depending on what happens with Caen. And Newcastle are a fairly poor proposition in the Premier League, relatively speaking. So I'm hoping that I can show you a couple of good games. Maybe instead of usually what happens is when I record things go badly, maybe now when I record things are going to go better. So we've got Padilla, who's been playing well, but I'm going to give him a break because he's a bit tired and we have to play Roma soon. Same with Saeed. We're going to bring Novotny in. Otherwise, I think the team's going to stay as they are. Fall is not yet fit enough to play properly. We have no central midfield option. We've got a few of our younger players starting to complain now that they're not playing. Similarly, we have Wilmot, who's struggling to make the bench considering everyone else is playing pretty well. But this is the team we're going to play. The only difference to what we were doing earlier on is that Serapio is playing instead of Jair. Jair complained. I benched him, and since then we've actually done a lot better. So, and Serapio is a better player. Wilmot I said he's not been playing much, but he did score his 100th goal for Swindon. That goal against Breda was his 100th goal. We're hoping that Jeff has got 16 goals this season. Very impressive so far. I'm just hoping that we can carry on here and start to sort of push up the table a bit, because it's been another demoralising start to a season. Even though I think it's been we're in a sort of it's a false narrative. I don't think we're really doing that badly. Oh, Silveira has been sent off, so we've got 90 minutes basically to play against 10 man and Newcastle, and a free kick in a dangerous area, although as usual we don't expect to get much from this. Alberto, He says that. Alberto whips the ball in. They love Alberto. He scored a free kick for Swindon Town. They were briefly 9, well in fact they're still 9 men on the pitch because Hay is off injured. And with that, we go up to 11th. And things don't look quite so bad. Obviously, other teams are playing today as well, which means that we will continue with our games in hand over everybody else. 2 games in hand now, 23 points we could potentially get to. So we could be up in 4th. And considering that we basically had a squad mutiny over the position, because I think at one point, because we played so many League Cup and Europa League games in a row, missing normal league games, that we were something like we were bottom, but we'd only played about 1 game and everyone else had played about 6. So it was tough. Those numbers are slightly incorrect as well, but we've been in the lower reaches of the table, and it's not entirely because we've been poor. Oh, Perez, he heads the ball home. We are 2-0 up and coasting against Newcastle. This is the first league game of the season where we've seemed comfortable. Those 2 wins that we took over Huddersfield in particular, but those 2 wins we have had this season in the recent times have not been convincing. The West Ham result we probably did deserve, but the Huddersfield game in particular, it was a bit of a surprise when we got the winner there. Nevertheless, we did. Now we are starting to remind everybody that we are a decent side. And I think we needed to remind ourselves. The players were getting frustrated. I was getting annoyed. And the other problem, I was saying to Sam and Josh on the texts, you can't on this game have a proper conversation with the players. I think it's a bit more nuanced in the newer games. But this is, I think, only the second game where they actually had the ability to have conversations with players. And they just don't have any proper realistic responses. So they would come and say, "Oh, I think we're underachieving," and you say, "Yes, I know, but we're going to do everything and we're going to get it right." And they say, "I don't believe you have the ability to do that." And then all I can say is, transfer list, or it's transfer list, walk away in denial, or shut up, I hate you. And it doesn't mean you can't really get out of that unless you strongball them enough, strong arm them enough, and just say, I'm the boss. Eventually, sometimes they say okay. But for example, Shehu, who's playing on the wing today, he's been at the club for 6 or 7 years. You'd think, considering we just won the Premier League, we just won the League Cup, the FA Cup, sorry, that he would be fairly confident in my ability as a manager. But no. Yes, I'm still at work. And yes, I have been at work all day whilst doing this frustrating game. So yes, hashtag professional. Manuel up to Novotny. Novotny now goes around his man, but is forced to go backwards. Manuel Van Rethy. Van Rethy was another one. Van Rethy was the guy I was talking about who requested to be transferred and then complained when I transfer listed him. So he's obviously a little bit cluck. But, whatever. The team seemed to have come round again. We've had a decent little run, and it looks like it's going to continue here with this result. What was I going to say? The other good thing is Saeed also came round and decided he didn't want to leave. He had previously said he's absolutely definitely not going to sign a new contract and requested to be transfer listed. I did that. Nobody offered me good enough money, so he didn't leave. He then decided he wanted to stay. So I've said yes, you can stay, of course. But he's still not interested at the moment in signing a new contract. It could be that that was a terrible header from Perez. It could be that we get to the end of the season and he might change his mind, especially if we do well and actually turn things around a bit. But Novotny has just trickled the ball over the line there. Not sure he meant that. He recently got his first goal for the Czech Republic on international duty. So he's in a fine run of goal scoring form. I assume that one was probably a better goal than this thing. A diving header. Well, okay, fine. I'm sure that was a diving header. I'm sure that in reality, the ball slowly coming out to him and then him slowly heading it back across, that was definitely a diving header. Cool. I'm happy with the performance. So if I play it, keep it up. This is the kind of performance that we've been expecting this season. We've done it occasionally in Europe. We've had a couple of stonking results in Europe. But we've really, really struggled in the league this season. Just for making our talent shine through. We're actually doing it now. In fact, we're up to 10th. That's not bad at all. Forest Green, let's just mention it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Charlton, however, are sinking like a stone. I think they were on 16 points after about 5 or 6 games. No, 5 or 6 games, stupid. 6 or 7 games, so they've not done very well in the last 7 or 8 matches. Newly promoted, though, that's kind of to be expected, I suppose. Anyway, Fetut, he also got capped recently by the Dutch, so a lot of our players starting to make names for themselves on the international stage, which is nice. I think Laveau has also played for France recently, which I don't think was always the case. Manuel has been a very good signing. Serapio is playing a lot better and hasn't been injured since playing on the left side of the back four, so I don't know quite why that would mean that he doesn't like playing on the left rather than the right means that he doesn't get injured, but it seems to be he's on a good run of form, so touch wood. Alberto now. Can we get a crossing from Manuel? No, but Van Rethy might be able to recycle play. He does, gives it over to Laveau. Gillich. We have been struggling a little bit, so our main man in the midfield got injured. I forget his name now, but the new signing, he's out for probably still 3 months. So we've been having to play Bradfilov and Gillich, which is nothing too bad. They're both good players, but they're not consistent, and Bradfilov has the unfortunate tendency to get himself cropped for 2 or 3 games at a time. So Gillich is having to perform double time whilst he was also covering at right midfield for Moussa Fall, who has only just become fit again after quite a long-term injury. Great finish there from Just Jeff, taking his goal-scoring form out of the Lloyd Wilmot school of goal-scoring. Slowly turn around the player and shoot into the corner. Lovely stuff. Of course, Lloyd Wilmot, his goal-scoring has a massive asterisk underneath it, a huge footnote, which reads, miss the easy chances. So hopefully Just Jeff doesn't carry on doing that. He's already got, that must be his 17th goal of the season, which isn't bad considering how poor we've been and the fact that we are, only not even halfway through the season. So, it's pretty impressive. He's doing well, although I think he did score quite a few goals in the Europa League. Nevertheless, not bad. Don't complain. Perez clears up to Just Jeff. It's 70 minutes gone. We haven't made a change. That seems strange. Novotny is a bit tired. Let's give him a break. Take him off. We will play. We will give. What are we going to do? We're going to take off Van Rethy, and we're going to bring on Topic as well, who scored his first goal last game, and he's slowly adapting to that right wing position. Sam will probably be able to tell me exactly why it's not a good idea to train him as a right winger, but to me, he doesn't seem like he's got quite the exact shape you want for a striker. He looks more like an attacking. To be fair, he's more like an attacking midfielder, but we don't use them, so we have to repurpose these players. I had an amazing player on Football Manager 10 who was just sensational as an attacking left wing, but he couldn't play left wing, and no matter how much you trained him, I was like, you're using the same statistics. Your skill set should largely be the same, except for you're expected to stay wide and track back a bit more. But he just could not do it. Every once in a while, he'd have an absolutely insane game, but largely he didn't. Good times. Anyway, 4-0 against Newcastle. This is a good. We've even managed to somehow keep a clean sheet there. We've done well. We've done well in this game. I was surprised. I was expecting it to be a bit more tough, but then to be fair, a bit tougher. But to be fair, they had a man sent off after 1 minute, so not 2 minutes. So we'll take that. Not going to complain. We beat what's put in front of you. We have done. We're up to 10th. Spurs must have. Wow. Forest Green 5, Charlton 4, Swansea City 3, Huddersfield 2, Arsenal 1 for 5 against Bradford. And of course, Chelsea drew 0-0 with Hull. Where does that leave Charlton now? Charlton dropping like a stone. Yeah, they've conceded a lot of goals recently, and not scored a great deal either. We have put ourselves up into 10th. We've got a positive goal difference at last, possibly for the first time of the season. West Ham have sacked Scott Dan, which is a shame, I suppose. Novotny getting his goal. Lovely stuff. Montufar. I was wrong. He's back in training. He's only been out for 5 weeks with a broken arm. I mean, he's basically Wolverine. It's a good feeling when everything comes together like that. Confidence is high. Each wing brings just a bit more confidence, and Laveau had a great game. He's actually had a very good season. It's not the first time he's been singled out in press conferences for being one of the best players, which is a surprise for a right back. It doesn't usually happen very much. But there we go, yeah, and Spurs drew 3-3, meaning that... they have actually overtaken us again, okay. Western-super-Mare, by the way, last season finished, 12th? This season they were up around here, and then they dropped off a tiny bit, and their manager was under threat. I was like, what the expectations of that club are a bit wonky. Anyway, what's going on here? Hyde have unfortunately been knocked out. Did one of our lads score? They've got a player of ours on loan. Oh, shouldn't have clicked that. No, and he didn't even score, so great, well done us. Well done Ben. 2 yellow cards for Hyde. They had a couple of really cool, there was like Walthamstow or something got to the first round of the cup as well. It was a bit of fun. In the background you can hear Masha attending a conference call. She's a businesswoman doing her business. But yeah, and now we've got to play Roma in our second game against them this season. We actually could do with... Yeah, if we win that, we definitely qualified for the next round, which is nice. And then it would be basically a straight shootout between us and Caen for the top spot. Although I suspect because we drew with Breda that we might not be able to catch them. I'm not 100% sure about that. We'll have to double check in a second. Vedric Richista has been taken over. That's nice for them. We're going to get our third round FA Cup draw here. Let's hope for someone like Bury or Chelmsford and not Chelsea or Arsenal or whatever. Who did we get? Scrolly down here. Forest Green, of course we did. It's a repeat of the final from last season, but in the third round. Thanks game. Swindon Town and Forest Green Rovers actually played each other in the final of the FA Cup way back in earlier this year. Stupid game. So we got the FA Cup as well to enjoy. Hopefully we can try and retain that. That'd be fun. I'd like to try and win the League Cup this season. I think we're with a pretty good shout. There are, however, I think Arsenal and Chelsea, I might be right in saying, are still in it, or it might be Man United who are still in it. But basically, there's at least one big team still in the FA Cup, the League Cup. So whether or not we'll be able to win it is anyone's guess. But we have proven in short bursts that we are up to the task of playing and going toe to toe with these guys. It's question marks are still raised as to whether or not we can do it on a regular or over 90 minutes really. Especially against teams like Arsenal, we seem to be able to have good spells of games, but they still seem to be able to overpower us. Lots of thoughts and frustrations. But I think we're getting there. We're definitely better than we were last season. We're gripped by Euro Cup fever as we welcome Roma back to Swindon. It's one of the glamour ties that they've been hearing about, I'm sure. Ray Oakley, they're going to name Greg Clark as their new manager. They are not good. They are 9th in Serie A, but then we are 11th in the Premier League, so it's not like we are in any way able to talk down upon them. I'm comfortable with the game against Forest Green. They're not that good. I know that they are 4th in the Premier League table, but they've signed some weird players. They're a rare moneybags team who seem to make quite good signings each year. Okay, here were the 2 other teams. I think Arsenal have that team in League One. I didn't. I pressed space, but whoa! What the hell? What the fuck? Jesus! I mean, that's not their first team, surely. Haroldo, former Swindon lad. Yeah, well, I mean, he's not that good. Worth 5 million. They had him up front. He's not good. Artman. He's not good. Oh wow, they've really played some shonky players. But he's good. Mitch Smith, he's been capped by England, man. Played 2 years in Denmark, of course, where they all do. Byfield, he's amazing. What they got beat 7-1. What? I mean, whoever the coach is needs to be sacked. He's got 100 caps for Sweden. Ogard, he's good. What are we talking about from Wimbledon then? Yeah, this fella. How many did he? Who scored in that? Go back forward again. Overview. So Ferguson got a hat-trick. Which one was Ferguson? Him. Their right winger. He got a hat-trick. Best game of his career. Stop it. He got a hat-trick. Tom Lee got 2. Oh man, they absolutely destroyed them down the wings. The Australian. Very nice. Who else scored? McManus. They even missed a penalty. It could have been 8. Oh man. That is the result of the century, isn't it? That's the result of the freaking century. So who does that mean is left in it then? There's still potentially Chelsea. Yeah, okay. Well, flipping it. Oh man, that was delightful. I really enjoyed that.